Well, hello there. Welcome to Real WW Talk. I'm Erin.
And I'm Ricky.
Listen, I know we've been playing, musical chairs here on Real WW Talk, but we promise we are going to be back together shortly. It's the nature of life right now.
Lots of busy schedules. It's hard to coordinate.
It is, and I know Candace is doing her own holiday entertaining too. Like last year I was over her house helping her cook her Thanksgiving dinner, which was like one of the most fun times of my life. So she's running this year. I'm so proud of her.
She's got it.
So, Ricky, how are you doing? Are you bloated? I'm going to ask you that because we're friends.
Yes, I certainly am. I don't think I did too bad, but it's still a day of indulgence, and it's nice to have moved on from that.
I know. Do you know, I've never forgotten what Noelle, one of our WW meeting leaders, had said. She's like, you don't have to eat all the leftovers on Friday. You could actually save them to eat today on the Saturday. Like you don't have to like cram everything in at once. And I was like, yeah, that makes sense. So I parsed some food out yesterday and I've got a little bit more food today. So I'm excited at the goodness that's in my refrigerator.
Yes. So delicious.
Okay, so unbelievably, tomorrow starts the 1st of December, which is
Crazy.
mind-boggling to think. Have you started thinking about, let me ask you this. Have you skipped over December completely, and are you in January, like mindset at all?
Well, because I'm going to Disney, yes. I mean, that's I've been in January since August. Um, yeah, so I've been there, and I need to stay focused in the moment because the time will come, and I'm going to be even more excited January 1. But yeah, I think I'm already thinking about the new year, thinking about what's next. I love the holidays, so I don't want to like miss any moments, but kind of ready for it to go by fast.
Yeah.
How about you?
You've been having some pretty strong goals for yourself to get there. Can you just refresh us on what those were?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I'd like to be able to like do a lot of things for this trip. So I'm thinking about being able to fit in the ride a little better and be a little more comfortable. So some of the goals that are, going to help me get there are, working out, and more specifically, working out my Peloton. I started with, 2 days a week, and I've been increasing to 3 days a week because, I'm not comparing myself to my older self. I used to be able to do, multiple times a week, and it's not that I can't now, just the routine is different. So I worked up from 2 days a week on the bike for 30 minutes a day, and including 10 minutes of strength, to doing that 3 days a week. So that's one of the things I've been working on, and then I've been really trying to increase my honest tracking, because that has been a challenge for me as far as the vegetables and getting those things in. And I've been able to do that with the different meal plans that I've been doing with Factor meals and having it delivered. So that's helped a lot with that.
That's fantastic. Good for you. And
Thank
I mean,
you.
a month away, right? So it's
Hmm.
working. It's working.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's so funny. Like I always feel like I'm careening into the new year. And then and I think so much of it is all of the things that I have to get wrapped up in working at a nonprofit. There's just
Mhm.
so much towards the end of the year. And we have our last concert of the season on December 20th. And it's amazing. It's going to
Wow.
it's the Charlie Brown Christmas, but it's the play. It's the live
Oh,
action play.
cool.
Oh, it was so good. If it does come to a town near you, make sure you go see it because it is like the television performance come to life, but even more magical. It's
Mm.
so good.
Oh.
Um, but so I mean, there's a lot that's got to happen before we get to January. So um, I'm trying to be really intentional this year for myself about enjoying January, not letting it either overlooking it in favor of wait a minute. December, overlooking it in
Mhm.
favor of January, enjoying a little bit of December because I realized like last year I never went to go see Christmas lights. Never went out to go see
Mm.
Christmas lights. And you and me, single girls, you've got to glom onto someone else's event or go do your own and be sad. Or that's me. But yeah, so I just want to be I just want to be more intentional with that this year and not let what's in my
Mhm.
face rule me. Like
Mhm.
I will rule the season and it will yield to the other things.
I
So
love that. So it sounds like you're fitting in some Christmas lights this year.
yes, along with a hot beverage while
Okay.
I want a hot cocoa. I really
Yeah,
peppermint mocha, something like that while I drive.
it sounds like a plan. Hey, Starbucks has a free did you hear about that? They're not charging for their alternate milks anymore. So if you get soy milk or
Yes.
almond milk, it's not like 60, 70 cents anymore.
My gosh,
So,
yes,
I
that's
know.
amazing. The first ones to do that. Yes.
Mhm.
And honestly,
Yeah.
because they were charging for that, and plus if you wanted a non-dairy cold foam, any extra non-dairy item, each one cost, and that was pretty
Crazy.
ridiculous.
Yeah.
Pretty
So
ridiculous.
now you gotta get that
So,
drink.
okay, so for November, I mean, we are talking about finishing our year strong. As you look back, you
Mhm.
look back on the year, what are some things that you are really proud of yourself for?
It's a good question. I think for me, it's been a year of, taking care of myself health-wise and, not running away from any doctors. And there's nothing major or anything, but, toe the line between not wanting to be a hypochondriac and being like going every single doctor, but, facing the things and asking the questions and being able to do that so I can be as healthy as possible. So for me, that was really important. And also just making those big girl decisions that make life easier. Like I'm going to order meals. I'm done with the eating out. I'm done with the pattern of, um, being bored of the food that I make at home because, like you said, as a single girl, like it's hard to
Mhm.
make a recipe and know that you have, 10 servings and, you're the only person to eat it. And
Yes.
economically, I don't want to make 10 different recipes in a week. And technically, I could do that and freeze it all and, kind of prep myself in that way. But that takes time. And for me, a meal prep delivery service, made sense. And it's helped me to eat more vegetables, which I'm really proud of because I've seen that
Mhm.
help me a lot this year. So I'm
Yeah.
I'm proud of the choices that I've made that have helped me get closer to my goals.
That's awesome. And some of those choices started out as frustrations.
Mhm. Yeah.
And those were things. So just thinking about even for myself, the things that we might like beat ourselves up for, right? There's
Mhm.
always a solution to every problem, and you've been finding a solution that you now can look back on and be like, I'm really proud of myself because
Mhm.
I took care of that. I've done that.
Yeah.
That's
It's good
great.
when you can say, "I didn't wallow in this. I didn't let it take control of me. I just said, I'm not gonna complain. I'm not gonna just eat the same thing every day." Or if you're talking about still the meal delivery, I'm not gonna eat the same broccoli every day or let it die in my fridge. I'm gonna, spend spend a little bit more money, but do something that's really beneficial to me in the end.
Listen, those bags of baby carrots when they see me coming in the grocery store, like, no, we're gonna go die in our fridge.
Yeah. There's so many, many horrible scenes when I finally clean out the fridge and it's like, "Oh, you've been in here too long. I'm so sorry. Said I wasn't gonna do it to you, and I did.
And I
So
did
long."
every time. Do you know what I did do though? I will just an addendum on that. I
Uh-huh.
found these, I mean, it's there's plenty of I could have done this a long time ago, but I found a
Mhm.
fancy fridge box that's clear and I
Okay.
emptied the baby carrots out and put
Okay.
them in the thing, and it's a really easy lift lid. Don't ask me why
Okay.
that's different than putting, the baby carrots in a bowl with a lid, but there's something about the
Uh-huh.
easy lift lid that I just poop, and I just kind of like stick a couple fingers in, and I grab 2 or 3 and I pull them out, and then I munch, munch, munch. Like
That's
that,
great.
between that and grapes. And now when I come home from the grocery store with
Mhm.
my grapes, that I pull them off of the vine or the little,
Mhm.
the little thingy, make sure they're all washed. And they also go in there in a special box. And
I
I just
love
pull
it.
a couple out at a time to munch on. Those have become my little grab and go things when I feel
Mhm.
like, when you open the refrigerator and you stare to see what's inside, like
Right.
I'm like, oh, it's the same thing every time, but do I want to go grab a couple baby carrots or do I want to grab a couple,
Mhm.
grapes in that case? So
I think the aesthetics of it really make a difference, so,
it is.
kudos
I'm
to
so
you for
shallow.
We all are, that's the thing. I mean, we all want what's right in front of us literally, and sometimes we know there's food in the vegetable drawer, but if it's not right in front of us, we're not gonna open it, and if it's not
Right.
already rinsed and,
Yeah.
ready to
So
go.
there is a lesson in that for us, and that is what you did is reduce the hurdle.
Mm,
What are the obstacles that are in the way of us
right.
doing the thing? And we need to remove whatever that obstacle is. I think,
Mhm.
Weight Watchers talked about that, a while ago with the habit stacking and things like that. Like,
Mm.
what are the obstacles? And for
Yeah.
some reason, opening the refrigerator, opening up the vegetable crisper, and then having to open up the baby carrot bag, those were
Mm.
hurdles for
Yeah.
me. But eliminating the hurdle of the bag and the vegetable crisper, suddenly, baby carrots actually don't shiver when they see me in the grocery store anymore. They're like, "I wanna go live in my luxury condo in your fridge,"
Right.
you know? They've got the
I love
penthouse apartment.
it. That's
So,
funny.
that's one of the things that I'm proud of for this year,
Okay.
for me. This year was a little bit of especially the first half of the year was mental,
Mhm.
for me because I had some pretty significant surgery in April. And so I had a lot of doctor's visits that had started that previous fall.
Mhm.
And then just the ramp up to the surgery and that the mental aspect of it. And that didn't stop when the surgery happened.
Mhm.
So for me, that's a pretty big thing in the sense that I would have spent time emotionally eating, and
Mm.
I did not emotionally eat. I kind of felt the things and journaled my way through them.
Yeah.
So that was a really good, hey, check mark, good for me on that.
Mhm.
I invested in shoes this year for myself, tennis
Wow.
shoes, and not like shoes, but tennis shoes to support my walking habit, thanks to our
Uh-huh.
step vets. And that's an expense every 3 months, but that's worth it
Mm.
because it's what's holding me up and allowing me, to have good foot health and leg health. And it's amazing what
Mhm.
happens when you have the wrong pair of shoes and the impact
Mm.
on your hips and your back, isn't it?
Yes.
It's
I
wild.
know for a fact from teaching and being on my feet all day, I used to wear ballet flats and flip-flops, and one of my friend's moms, who was a doctor, always, said something when I came in, but, when you're in your 20s, you don't really wanna listen to your mom or your friend's mom or
Yep.
anybody's so I just kept wearing them, and I would be on my feet for, an 8-hour day and not really realize the impact in the moment. But it was right before 2020, so like 2019, I started to have just the worst plantar fasciitis. And I didn't know what it was at first, but it
Horrible.
took COVID where I wasn't sitting, wasn't standing as much because I was working from home. And then changing to the right shoes, and I don't have the problem like I used to at all.
That's amazing. It is. It's
Mhm.
it's a difference. It's a difference.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah, so those were a couple things, and then I finally got serious about strength training. Now that's only
Okay.
been the past 2 months, but it's taken me all that time to get here to this place. but
I
I
love
love
it.
it and I feel good and I feel strong. So
Mm,
I feel like and I don't want to say that I'm back because I don't want to go backwards if that makes sense.
mhm,
I'm not who I was then, but
mhm,
I enjoy being strong. I enjoy being able to, run up hills or what have you. And
mhm,
I've been able to do that for a while. Thankfully, I live in a location that has a lot of hills, but I've been working on the endurance and the
mhm.
repetition of those things. So
That's
that's felt
awesome.
yeah, that just feels that's where I feel most healthy is in the exercise space because I actually realize I like doing it,
That's
which
incredible.
right? Like
Yeah.
I wouldn't have said that before. Like that would have been, and this was, I mean, we're talking years and years ago.
Mhm,
That would be a wish for me to be able to say that I
mhm.
enjoy doing athletic things. And
Yeah.
athletic for me is lifting weights and walks, with some jogs thrown in
Mhm.
there. And that's good enough for me.
I mean, I think that's incredible because I mean, what we've learned from, our Real WW Talk Plus series and having, the different guests on is that, things are individualized and what works for one person works, and the benefits of activity and walking are so strong that like they just they speak for themselves. And I think it's amazing that you've done that you've committed to it. And it speaks volumes that you are investing in those shoes and you call that like a treat or an investment because for some people it's like I got these heels or I bought a new handbag or some makeup, but you're like I bought myself some shoes, some walking shoes. And that says a lot about your commitment but also your excitement for it, and I think
Yeah.
that's incredible.
I love it. So Ricky, as we think about the next, was it 30 days, 31 days,
Mm-hmm.
whatever it takes to get us to January 1,
Yes.
I mean, it's a finite amount of time, but it's still a lot of time to make great progress. So
Mm-hmm.
if they're thinking about losing weight, well, 1 pound a week, that's 4 pounds. And if you were to tell me I could lose 4 pounds by whatever, I would be like, yeah, give me those 4 pounds. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
that's still potential. Or if you're like, you know what, I just don't want to gain any weight over the holiday. Great. You've got 4 weeks to practice maintenance. What an
Mm-hmm.
awesome gift. So
Yeah.
just thinking about like the framework of what a gift we have for the time that's left in the year, is there anything for you that you're like, I really want to do this before January 1 comes?
Mm-hmm. I want to maintain my workout routine and let that go through the holidays because I think this is the time of year where things can get really mixed up as far as our normal routines
Mhm.
and, things that pop up, people being free or off or in town and, having the time off, can be a real something that throws a wrench into that. So I really want to maintain that workout. And then also I'm looking forward to those, holiday live classes on Peloton. If you're a member of Peloton or if you have any type of online activity or even just in the gym, there's usually those seasonal type things. We've had turkey trots already this season, but like those Christmas themed walk, there's so many themed things that I think really make exercise a lot more fun. So I'm looking forward to those live classes that I don't usually get a chance to do on Peloton. And
I'm just thinking about that time we did that Christmas 5K
yeah,
at the beginning of December, and we just
yes.
about froze ourselves.
Oh my gosh. I that was not my favorite walk.
And we had a friend who it was a Weight Watchers group. We all decided we were going to do it together. And one of the gals, a friend of ours, she was like not having it. She was not happy.
I don't even remember if she finished it or if she just did part of it. She was like, I'm out of
I
here.
think she cut. I think she cut and ran in the middle of it. She was done. So I was just envisioning you from there to
Mhm.
your Peloton doing it in the warmth of your house, but still
Yes.
getting the ho 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 feeling, you know?
Exactly. I found what works for me. I can wear a tank top in the winter and do a workout. I'll put on a
Right.
little, if I need to put on a
Did you
little
put on a
Santa
little
hat,
tutu, a Christmas tutu
there you
while on
go.
your ride?
Just for me. I don't have to worry about who's watching me, they judging the way it looks. No, it's just me and my tutu and my class.
Maybe I'll do my own 5K in a week or so, and I'll just pull out all of
Yeah,
my Christmas nonsensory and do it.
you gotta get use out of it. I mean,
Oh, man,
you've got a lot of it.
I will say, you know what I have been doing. This is a detour because I need to go back to you, but I've
Mhm.
kept up with my what I did not do last year, and I went, you know what? I was really happy and feeling good about myself when I was doing this, and that was
Mm.
keeping to the pattern of getting up and
Okay.
going for a walk outside at 6
Mm,
a.m. I have all of my cold weather gear,
okay.
and I've been doing it. I did it this morning,
I
so
love it. That says a lot because with it being dark, cold, all those things, I mean, you have to prepare, you have to just mentally and, with what you're wearing physically. So, that takes a lot of strength to do.
it's the fastest I ever walk, Ricky.
Okay. Okay. There you go. Motivation.
That's it. Personal record. Okay, so your rides, your Peloton rides, what else? Anything else?
What else this year? So, I mean, I'd like to I don't wanna gain, so I'd like to maintain my weight and, um, keep that going through the beginning of the year because I've just, been on a trend this year of being down. It's been slow, but it's been a trend, and those trends are, I'm realizing over the years, so much more important than the ultimate number. Like, yes, I'm ultimately wanting to get to a certain number or a certain range of weight loss, but, if I have a downward trend, that means I'm gonna get there. It may not be in 6 months, like, if I could choose, just say, snap my fingers and it happens then, sure, I think we all would choose that, but,
Mhm.
I think I'd like to continue that trend with that honest tracking, just continuing to use those resources, pre-tracking, making sure that all my things are in so I can, be consistent with that, and that part of that's gonna be saying no to things, especially those spontaneous things at work that come up. So I'd like to really just feel in charge this year of, my choices when it comes to food.
Yeah, I love that. I love
Mhm.
that.
Yeah. What about
Um,
you?
I think for me, is the same thing. I would really love not to gain over the holidays. So,
Mhm.
um, that's just for me is going to be really cognizant of what I'm eating, along with that tracking. And for anybody who's listening, if you aren't on WW, we welcome everybody, WW or not on WW, but that's the crux of any health plan is tracking what you eat, calories or points or what have you. Um, so I do want to keep doing that. I want to just keep that habit and keep that pattern up. And I mention it just because the routines have already shifted with this season. And so I recognize that the routines have shifted. But one of the things that I learned and we learned early on with WW is the habits. When
Mhm.
you've built habits, what are the habits that are going to help you maintain what you want to do? So I'm going to keep focusing on the water, although my water has definitely transferred into hot water, hot flavored water,
Okay.
more tea than the coffees. I allow myself a coffee a day,
Wow. Okay.
but I've got my teas because here's the thing: if I do a coffee,
Mhm.
there's a good chance that the coffee isn't just coffee,
Yeah.
right? Like it's got creamers and flavors and fun things with it.
Mhm.
So there are times when I'll do just a straight coffee. And then there are other times where I'm like, ooh, I really want a latte this and, all of that jazz. So it's just
Mhm.
kind of pacing myself. And so it's kind of like the pillars for me keeping up with the exercise, the drinks, and then making sure that every day I have a meal that's a 0 point meal.
Mhm.
So I have, so whether it's a breakfast, which is pretty easy to do because I just know that
Mhm.
there are some days coming up where my meal that I might have might be 15, 20 points because it's
Mhm.
going to be with family. So I'm
Mhm.
trying to balance throughout the week, making sure that at least one of my meals is a 0 point meal just to help,
Mhm.
edge me a little bit in a different area, buy me a little bit of a wiggle room. So
Mhm.
I've also been challenging myself to make the 0 point meal not breakfast because I feel like
Okay.
breakfast is super easy. That's eggs, egg whites,
Mhm.
scrambled with some vegetables, which could be super filling. But I did
Mhm.
make Downshiftology. I'll put the recipe in the notes. It's her white
Mhm.
chicken chili and it's 0
Ooh.
points. And I can see your eyeballs right now. Thank you for taking that note for me.
Of course.
It's 0 points and it's chicken and an onion and a green pepper and white beans. And you actually blend a can of the white beans with chicken broth, and that acts as like a thickener, but also instead of putting
Mhm.
dairy in it, you've got more fiber and it's really filling. It's just really tasty. So
Mm.
that can go in the slow cooker. And again, that's a 0 point meal, but it's super filling.
That sounds
So
amazing.
yeah. And then I can offset it if I want to. If I want to use some of the points, I'll have tortilla chips with it. And
Mhm.
it's really, really yummy. So
Mhm.
yeah, that is how I'm going to finish the year out by hook or by crook. I am
Okay.
doing this thing. And plus I have to see my doctor in January, man, and I just want her to be happy when she sees me. I don't want an eyebrow from her. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you need a doctor who you're like, you care about impressing and,
Yes, and I
making
do. I
happy.
care about impressing her. I will say that. I want her to be happy with me.
Yeah, it
She's
sounds like
good.
you've been doing all the things, so I think she will be.
I hope so. I hope so. I hope so. So, all right. Well, anything else you want to add to that? I feel really good with where we are. I
I
feel
do
happy.
too. I think, this season it's so easy to get caught up in things. So I'm also prioritizing just taking that time to relax. I know I've been trying to get through reading books and, taking that time. I don't really do massages or anything like that, but just lighting a candle and relaxing. I think the mental health piece in this time of year is important. So I
Yeah.
don't want to forget about that as I'm trying to prioritize like catching up with people and buying holiday gifts. And I mean, it can get so stressful. So I think that taking that time also in the end of the year to reflect and um, to just have moments of peace is really important too for all of
Mhm.
us.
Not rush through the season. That's what I
Mhm.
love that, having moments of peace. And I usually
Mhm.
take I take vacation the last week of the year, although this year is gonna be kinda weird because it kinda falls in the middle of the week, both,
Mm.
Christmas and, New Year's, but
Mhm.
I like to take that time and do reflection and then also planning for
That's
the
great.
next year. Like, "Hey, what do I need to do just to mentally close out this year, and what do I want for the coming year?"
Yeah.
What is it that I what do I want to continue doing? That because not everything has to always be a project. Not always everything has to be fixed, right?
Mhm.
Sometimes it's just I want to keep doing good things. And if I want to keep doing good things, what are maybe do I need to stop something else because it's encroaching in on that
Mhm.
ability to keep doing good things? So it's just kind of protecting that space a little.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, that's
It's
something
so
I notice about myself is I feel like I'm always trying to fix something. And I'm like, actually,
Mm.
I don't, I don't always need to be fixing something. What if I actually found something
Mhm.
that I enjoy doing and I just keep doing more of that?
Exactly. I love that. That goes along with all the statistics about resolutions and how they they don't necessarily work because I think we're always focused on like, okay, this is going to be the year that XYZ and it's like what about I started doing, walking more this year, and I kept up a routine of buying sneakers every 3 months, and because I've been walking consistently, I want to keep that trend going. Like, that's what's wrong with just saying that is one of the
Mhm.
goals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely. I'm keeping that
Mhm.
one.
Yes,
Keeping
good.
that
You
one.
should.
I'm keeping it. All right. Well, that does it for us. We would love to hear from you as you look back on this year, like something that you're really proud of, or a couple of things. And then what do you need to do just to kill it by the end of the year? We want to hear it. So drop a note to us over in our Facebook group. Just search Real WW Talk to find us. We're also on Instagram. We have an email address if you would feel more comfortable sending us something there. And that is realwwtalk@gmail.com. And if by chance you would like to become a subscriber of the show, you'll find out how to do that within the show notes. And thank you to everybody who is already a subscriber and helping to make this conversation happen weekly. We are so, so grateful for you.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right, that does it. And we will see you next time, hopefully with all three of us. Yay! Bye.